Hi, as part of our Ask Me Anything series, one of the questions that always comes up is, why can't priests get married? And we know from Scripture that Peter had a mother-in-law, and we know from tradition that the early church, the priests and bishops were married, that they had wives and they were married. But always from the earliest days of the church, there was also celibacy. Jesus in the Gospels promotes it. And there was monastic communities that would have celibacy. But for the first 1,000 years in the church, there were married priests. The only celibate clergy came about around the year 1000 as a reform. Because what was happening is there began to be an abuse where bishops would name their sons to be bishops, and then you get bishops' sons bishops, and it became an inherited thing that so-and-so's son is so-and-so's father is the bishop, so his son is going to be the bishop. So-and-so's father was the priest, so he's going to be the priest of this town. And that really, you started to have corruption in that. You started to have guys who weren't meant to be priests becoming priests, and you had bad bishops and bad priests from there. Some of the corruption that would cause problems down the road we see from this era. And so the church said, as a reform, we're going to only have celibate men be priests. And so that was the church's solution to a problem. And so married priests is a discipline of the church. It is not a doctrine of the church, meaning it could theoretically change. It is a discipline that the church enacts. But it also would not change anything for me or any other priest. If, say, Pope Francis tomorrow said, we're going to have married priests, I've already made my vows, I've already made my promises. And also, the church has allowed married men to be priests, but has never allowed priests to get married. So what would happen is you would allow married men to be priests, but not for priests to marry, if there were a change. But right now, it is still a discipline of the church that the church enacts to only have celibate men be ordained to the priesthood. The deeper spiritual level of that is that it shows how we're made for God alone. How in heaven there will be neither giving or taking in marriage, what Jesus talks about in the Gospels. So the sense of the marriage with the church, and the sense of me being a father to the whole church, and going out from there.